What's up, guys? We're back in the lab. We're going to be going through another workout today, and we're going to have a focus on upper body, but specifically pushing. We're going to start things out by doing these isometric postures with limit force elastics using a Bosu ball this time, and then we're going to get into some work sets and then some accessory work. So let's go ahead and get right after this. We're going to start with this coiled, like low push-up hold or isometric using a Bosu ball, and specifically I'm using the Bosu Elite here. We're going to be holding 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other side. So when we mention coil, again, we're mentioning trying to lock into one side bend on one side, and we're going to be really trying to contract this low lat on that side. So to get it set up for this, I'm going to turn this just a little bit so you guys see it. We're going to lay our chest directly over top of the dome like so. I'm going to get my hands kind of aimed right at 12 o'clock or north here, and I'm going to steer my hands off to 3 o'clock, off to the side, to you guys. I'm going to get my legs nice and wide. I'm going to get up on my toes, and I'm going to flare this right heel out pretty aggressively. All right. From there, I'm going to pull my right shoulder down towards my right hip, and then I'm going to get this left elbow out in front of me here. So I'm aiming that left elbow at a point ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to compress into the dome. So I'm not going to lift off the dome. I'm just going to press in as hard as I can, and that's going to naturally kind of create a little lift off. So I'll be here. We're going to press in. I'm funneling everything into this right lat. We're going to hold for 30 seconds. Again, I'm really trying to feel everything in that right lat. I'm trying to pop this ball as hard as I can. Really what's special about working with a dome like this, a Bosu Elite like this, is that as I compress into it, it's really meeting me right where I'm at. So no matter what level you are, you're going to really find your limit here very quickly. 5 more seconds here. Again, really trying to keep our eyes on a point ahead, that elbow's reaching for that point, and I'm keeping that shoulder down towards my hip. Boom. Awesome. Cool. So we got that right side. I'm feeling really active in there. I'm really honed into that right lat. We're going to be able to tap into that in later work sets. So we'll do this other side. Face you guys. Again, hands right here at that 12 o'clock. I'm now going to steer them off to that 9 o'clock to make sure I'm hitting that left side. I'm going to keep that left shoulder all the way down towards that left hip. I'm throwing that left heel out, and that's going to really get me to contract that left lat really aggressively here. So eyes on a target ahead. That neck is nice and long. My right elbow's reaching for that target. And we're going to go ahead and start popping this ball. Again, we're going about 30 seconds here. Trying to funnel all of this work into that left lat. It's going to really help us set that intent for all the other movement we're going to be doing today. So again, these isos, these coiled isos specifically, we're trying to really establish good positions and postures, good intent to drive our later movement and our work sets. All right, guys, we've got about 4 more seconds. All right, awesome, cool. So we hit our 30 seconds there. I would do this for another round. Again, 2 sets of 30s, really good there. And even if you don't hit that 30 seconds, that's not really the key there. Again, the key is to keep your positions, keep your posture, keep your intent where it needs to be. If you're only holding for about 10 to 15 seconds, that's fine too, all right? But we'll hit 2 sets of that, and then we're gonna move into our work sets. All right, we just finished our isometric postures on that Bosu. We're gonna go ahead and get into some work sets. We're gonna be doing 4 sets of 4. We're gonna do an elevated push-up, or an incline push-up, and then we're going to play around with sort of like a downward dog sort of pike push-up variation as well. Again, we're only going for these 4 reps, so the volume is really low so that we can really focus in, get into our intent, and really try to maintain our postures throughout these movements. All right, so first one we're going to do, again, I'm sort of using this setup with a barbell on a rig. I do really like having that nice round object to kind of do this with, but you could use a bed, you could use a desk, you can use a chair, a bench, whatever you have access to, but I am going to recommend that you incline this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be exploring trying to drive this press through our lats. So we're going to be keeping this very like big chest type of posture, sort of like Superman. So I'm going to get my hands fairly wide on the bar. I'm really going to kind of emphasize getting those pinkies out in front. I'm going to really pack my shoulders down towards my hips, and I'm going to flick my heels out nice and wide with a wide base. Okay, as I go down, I'm actually going to draw myself in. I'm drawing myself in the bar. I do want to remind you of that. We're drawing ourselves into the bar, and we're trying to pull that bar right to our sternum. Okay, we're trying to get our head through. We should be traveling forward as we do this. We're going to pause for about 2 to 3 seconds, and we're gonna come up nice and easy for about 2 and 3 seconds. And this whole time, I'm trying to stay very rooted into my low lats throughout this. This will feel very similar to the bench press. So we're pulling in, I'm drawing into the bar towards that sternum, I'm keeping that chin tucked and keeping those shoulders low, and I'm keeping those heels nice and wide. We'll get that little pause, we're driving back out. That was 2 reps. Going in again. Okay, keeping that neck long, chin tucked, shoulders low, we're keeping those heels wide. And it's funneling everything into that intention of feeling those low lats throughout this press. I'm gonna go for one more. Again, chin tucked, neck long, shoulders low, heels out. Low lat the entire time. Excellent, boom. All right, so we'll do those push-ups in a couple variations, but I really, right now, want you to focus on that low lat contraction and making that feel a lot like a bench press would feel. So the second exercise we're gonna do here, so this is a pike push-up. We'll kind of do this sort of like in that A-frame, sort of like a downward dog type position. We're gonna play around with more of like an overhead press type situation. And we're gonna explore sort of this hand motion that I like to do when I'm doing presses on the ground on flat surfaces. And I mentioned that word draw. I was drawing myself into the bar. I'm pulling myself into the bar. I'm gonna be pulling or drawing myself into the floor. And I'm gonna use these straight fingers and sort of this cupping of my hand to help assist with that as I go into the floor. All right, so we're gonna give your hands some purpose in this. So I'll sort of take this A-frame, I'm gonna get a similar situation where I'm trying to keep the shoulders away or low and towards my hips as much as possible. The heels are gonna be nice and wide. And then again, as I draw into the floor or down for that push-up, I'm gonna pull the hands into that sort of cupping position, and then we'll press out and flatten the hand as we come up, all right? So A-frame, heels wide, my chin is tucked, I'm looking straight ahead of me, okay? Shoulders are low, I'm gonna draw in and really pull that A-frame with the hands. I'm heading towards the floor, I'm thinking about bringing my sternum to the floor, and then right back up. So this is only a partial range of motion. If you wanted a little more, you could elevate your hands on something, potentially even elevate your feet a little more. But we're gonna just stick to these partials, keeping those shoulders low, little pause, drive back up. Everything's nice and smooth and controlled. Draw in, all of that weight's on the outside of my hands as I draw that A or sort of cupping position with the hand. We're gonna go one more, the shoulders are staying low, the heels are flicked. I'm trying to load my lats as I do this. And back up, and we're gonna go one more. Talking a lot in these, I wanna make sure I'm getting work. Whew. There we go. All right, so again, really low volume, and that's all right. I really want you guys to hone in on that low volume idea, really focus in on trying to drive your movement from this core positioning, or right now we're trying to say drive everything through the lat. So that's our work set. You'll go ahead and do 4 sets of 4 of that, and then we're gonna move into some accessory work. All right, guys, we're back at our WEC wall. We just finished our work sets. We're gonna go ahead and get into some accessory work. We're gonna work the triceps a little bit, and then we're gonna play around with the pro-pulse speed chainers. We're probably gonna be doing just some micro pulsing, okay? Really burn out those triceps a little bit, kind of since we have this push focus. So I'm gonna use, we use the WEC wall. We like to hang TRXs thing and rings or whatever suspension trainer off this, if you will. I'm gonna go ahead and use one ring. I do really like the ring. I like being in it, and I also like being out of it. So this is sort of an alternative use of it. We're gonna use the top of the ring as our handle. So I'm right on top there. We're gonna get, again, sort of with suspension trainers, sort of the taller you are, they tend to be easier. The further back I get, the bigger the angle, the harder the movement's gonna be. So go ahead and sort of align yourself with what feels right with you at the time. We're gonna be doing 8 to 12 reps of this sort of French press or overhead tricep work. So I'm holding the top of the ring. I'm gonna flare those heels out wide again. I'm still trying to drive all that movement through that low lat. So we're still trying to funnel all that movement through there. So the shoulders go low, the chin stays tucked, heels go wide. I find my angle. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull that, that ring behind my head here, and then we're just gonna press away. And you're gonna notice you're not gonna actually fully lock out the arm when we're doing this. So you just have a soft bend in it. We're gonna bring that hand back behind the head, and we're going up overhead. And again, this whole time, I may even be trying to get the heels wider as I go up. I'm trying to sort of root and funnel this tricep extension through my lat. So through that lower portion of the low back there. And we're just going through 8 to 12, nice, smooth, controlled reps. Wouldn't mind seeing those little pauses sort of at each end range of motion. Got one more here, boom. All right, so I'm feeling my triceps, and I've connected those triceps to my, my core function now, or those low lats in this case. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my ProPulse speed trainers here. Again, if you didn't have ProPulsers, you could just do this with your hands. There's definitely a lot of benefit to having something like this that allow us to sort of train this arm action a little better. But we're gonna explore something called the micropulse. So typically we would be doing, actually I'll sort of build you guys up to it real quick. So we might do this full range of motion pulse. So I have pulsar at center chest, I'm gonna draw one to my armpit, and then I'm gonna pull this one off to that armpit. You're gonna notice the elbow's flapped in, this elbow's up high and back. That's gonna shift my weight off to the side with the elbow high and back. I'm gonna hit down, and as I go hit downward with this sort of double down pulse technique action, where the both hands meet down, I'm gonna hear a loud pulse with the pulsar, and then they're gonna replace positions. We're gonna sort of pick that up rhythmically, trying to keep the hands outside the center of the body. So right here, you'll hear that I'm getting this nice pulsing action. I'm able to get a really strong arm action, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on a micropulse. So we're gonna take the same movement, we're gonna bring it down to the belt line, so it's microscopic in a way, it's really little, and we can pick up the speed. So we're gonna go about 30 seconds really aggressive. Now the key here is to make sure you're still having that nice traditional arm action where one elbow's high and back compared to the other. We're not getting it synced too much. The pulse is synced, not the arm action. And again, this is gonna keep that wrist nice and cocked back. You'll kind of see how my pinkies flare out to the side. That's gonna keep my grip nice and loose. And I'm feeling those triceps burn like crazy. So that's one set through here. Again, we're gonna go through that tricep extension, sort of French press, the overhead work, funneling all that movement to the lat. Take those pulsars, kind of cap off those triceps with some micro pulsing. So that's our upper body workout with that push focus. We'll see you guys at the next workout.